Hello, welcome to GottaBeReel movie reviews with Thommi.
That's me.
And Jules. And right now we're doing a classic horror movie review of Sleepaway Camp.
Yes, from 1983, rated R. 80s has, I don't care, this is undisputable. 80s had the best horror movies. There was a lot more gore, there were better slashers, lots of nudity.
Oh.
In the 80s movie, if nothing else, you are guaranteed to see some boobies.
Yeah.
Probably in a shower scene.
Yeah.
You're going to see some frontal. You're going to see some unshaved muff. Because that's what people did in the 80s. They weren't down with, mowing the lawn a lot, apparently. So you're going to see that in some 80s movies. But they're just the best. I actually look for 80s movies all the time to watch. The slashers, they were just gory and it were just so good. Everything's so watered down now.
Now they make all these horror movies PG-13 and water them down.
I like that. I mean, if it's going to be horror, then do it. Mm-hmm. You know, don't worry about who's going to be offended at the gore. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's something gory or creepy, it's for us. It's for those of us who love horror and we love the classic 80s horror.
Right.
Matter of fact, I have a t-shirt that says I love 80s horror and there's a VHS tape on it. So, yes, it is
What's
the
a
best.
VHS tape? Just kidding.
Something that you have. You have the VHS player at home.
I was just kidding. You don't have to call me out again.
Sorry, she doesn't still have a VCR at home.
I do.
Okay. All right, well, let's get started. So, in this movie star, Felissa Rose. That is the star of this show who plays Angela. Mm-hmm. We also have Frank Sorrentino. We have Jonathan Tiersten, Karen Fields, and Catherine Cammey. So this is, by all means of the definition, a campy slasher film.
Oh, yeah.
Totally sure. 80s formula on here, right?
Totally.
So you got a dad, he's out on the boat, having fun with his kids. A tragic accident happens. One of the kids dies. The dad doesn't make it. So the surviving kid has to go live with the aunt. Mm-hmm. So the aunt is she's very eccentric. She's kind of bizarre.
Super weird. I'm like,
did you get that she was?
Is she supposed to act like that? Kept thinking.
I don't know if she was doing it on purpose or if that was how her character was supposed to be.
She was way off balance.
She was crazy weird. Like,
yeah, she
had a little maybe like 3 cans short of a 6-pack. So I'm glad the kids were going to camp because she was loopy. Either that or she was. I don't know if she's a wife at home. I was just about to say, was she one of them bored housewives who was just popping pills? Because she was on cloud 22. I don't even know. She was weird. So it's a good thing that they got sent to camp, right? So who gets sent to camp is the little boy, cousin.
Her son.
Mm-hmm. And then the little girl, who is Angela. So she sends them to this camp. You know, they got camp counselors who are also teenagers and they're power hungry and they're power tripping and they want to treat everybody like kids. And some of them are kind of nasty.
They're supposed to be teenagers, but you know those are grown people.
Yeah, well, they look like, a couple of them did look like they were like in their early 20s. But the camp counselors are technically supposed to be like, 18, 19 because they're looking after, smaller ones. So
yeah.
The one in here, the one they call Meg, I don't think anybody liked her. She was a total okay? She thought she was the hottest thing and so cute anyways. So what happens during this camp is everybody's having fun, or so they think. People start getting hacked up.
Yeah.
First, let's talk about the adults in this camp. And I do want to say that I actually met Felissa. She had a talk back here at the Alamo some months back. And she was talking about some of the real things that happened.
The Alamo movie theater.
Yeah, it was Alamo at the time. It's called Majestic now, but she was there in person, and so she talked through the movie, and she was telling us about all these fun facts and stuff that went on in the movie. James Earl Jones, that was his father.
His dad was in
the movie. I would not have even.
He played one of the kitchen helps, and the kitchen people. It's day one,
dude.
The first day when the kids are getting off the bus, and their clothes are all white, and they're already dirty. And the back's dirty, like they've been rolling around in the dirt and stuff.
Like they've been working in some slop kitchen.
Like, why?
They're disgusting. There's fly traps hanging, and now.
Why on the first day are you already dirty?
The health department would have been shut that down, but
I'd have been like, I ain't eating here.
I wouldn't listen. And then
unless it's in a package, some chips or something, I ain't eating.
Then one of them, he's a pedophile. Mm-hmm. And it's like they were laughing
about it. They knew it.
Like he's making comments about the little girls, and they're just, oh gosh, dude, you still he. What? Yeah. Y'all got an R. Kelly in here. Why y'all think this is funny? This is not funny. Y'all got Kales in here. Okay, but everybody just laughing it off. Okay, again, 80s, you know, I just watched something else from the 80s that same thing happened. Matter of fact, it was Poltergeist, where the daughter, who is a small teenager, is on her bike leaving the house, and the construction workers who are working on the house are like, ooh, 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 and they're whistling at this little girl.
They're whistling at her, but at least they didn't they didn't go through with trying to actually do something.
Well, this
guy was actually like messing with kids at the camp.
But I'm saying, in these 80s movies, I don't know who thought it would be cute or funny to have these pedophilish men and think it's funny. No. And then her mom sees her in Poltergeist.
He wasn't pedophilish. He was a pedophile because he tried to rape that girl.
He's petty, pedophile. Yeah. I don't call them pedophile for what they are. But even in that movie in Poltergeist, the mom laughs, like the girl flicks him off or whatever, and the mom laughs. I'm like, hold up. But these are grown men who are looking at your little girl. First of all, I'm going to walk outside and you're going to get the F off my property. It's what you're going to do. But anyways, in here, the guy's a pedophile. People think it's funny. So what happens is all these people start getting slashed up and they're like, what in the heck is going on? This is supposed to be a safe summer camp and, you know, people are getting hacked up. But what it is, people don't realize, the people that are getting killed are being killed because they did something to a particular person.
That's the formula.
Them mad, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of the killer, kind of a victim in some cases, kind of not. So when all these people start getting slashed up, Meg, who was one of them, nobody liked her because she was such a little. But anyways, Angela, she doesn't talk. You know, there's a boy who likes her and he wants to be her friend, and you know, she kind of warms up to him, but the girls are picking on her because, you know, she doesn't want to shower with everybody else, and nobody knows why does she want to shower, you know, with people, and she's weird, and they picking with her. But little did they know, they're messing with a slasher. There's something else that they don't know as well. Yeah. There's a reason why she didn't want to shower with everybody else. There's a reason why she kind of liked the boy that liked her, the guy that was crushing on her, but there was a reason why she couldn't reciprocate it. So when we had talked about this movie before, when I did a panel at PhoenixFearCon.com, right?
I thought she reciprocated it. He knew he liked she
right, but she was afraid. And here's the reason why. This is an old movie, so we can kind of talk about some of the things that happen in the movie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want a spoiler, I'll say go ahead and stop right here. But we talk about this when we're on the classic movies because most have seen it. Well,
yeah. And you'll still be interested, I think.
I think it is. And here's what I had asked some of the audience when we did the panel. What happens, what we find out all the time, Angela, this pretty little girl, pretty little shy girl who doesn't talk, you know, doesn't bother anybody, she ends up being the killer. Again, we have to bypass the fact that she's a tiny little girl, but then when the murders happen, that's not kind of the same height or the same, you know, we got to kind of get that out of our head, right? We got to let that go just to enjoy the movie. Angela is not Angela. Angela is a boy because that nutty ass auntie of hers decided, I already have a boy.
Yep.
I want a girl, so you are going to be a girl. And that is how she raised her. So I asked people before, do you think this movie would fit in the realm of LGBTQ? What do you think? We asked our audiences before, and it was kind of funny because some people were like, wow, I never thought about that.
I don't know. Even though it was against Angela's will to be
it was against her will.
Really, but you know,
it was against her will. But that's
she still was, you know, it was presenting as a girl,
right? But her aunt forced her to, so that's all she do. And this movie was considered, for its genre, one of the most shocking endings. And it's because you get to the end, right? So everybody's dying. Nobody knows who's doing it. You get to the end and you find out that Angela is actually a boy. And after, I don't know if I should call it, say he or she. I'm going to say she because she's Angela. You see butt naked. This is when people find out. And this is why the ending was so shocking, because nothing led up to that whatsoever. There's no way you would have known that this is what was going on, right? Yeah. And also, she's also a cock blocker which is fine because she does kill some teenagers out there having sex in the woods. You know, that's typical.
That's
what
you do in a camp horror movie.
Right. You know, somebody's drinking or they're having, you
have sex, you gotta die.
You got to die. You shouldn't have been out there doing that anyway. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you get to the end. There's a murder. Everybody's like, who is this? They get up there. It's dark. And there's Angela butt naked. And you see
her winky.
A wing. Yes, you do. We told you in 80s, you see a lot of full frontal.
Her winky dinky.
Listen to what Felissa told us. So when she was doing our talk back, she was talking about all the, all the fun stuff in the movie. Well, first her cousin, the one that played Ricky, he didn't like doing the movie, like whatsoever. It was not his thing. She said he hated it so bad.
He did a great job though.
He really did. You wouldn't have known. And she said they kept calling her Bubble Butt. Because at the time, in the 80s, for her, she might have had a little butt, but they kept calling her Bubble Butt, so she became really self-conscious about it. She told us about how the flies in the kitchen, that was all real. It wasn't staged. That's how really gross it was. But she said what happened is that they needed somebody to do the full frontal because that's when you get the shocker is really right there at the end of the movie. They literally found some dude walking down the street and was like, hey, we'll pay you X amount of dollars just to come do this scene. Because first they thought, well, maybe we can get a such and such body double and do all this. But it was easier for them to just get the guy and put her face, however they did it.
Yeah.
It looked like a...
Okay, it
almost
says...
like, I don't want to say mask, but it...
I got it right here.
Okay, yeah.
The climactic scene was accomplished using a nude man wearing a mask cast from Felicia Rose's face.
And you can tell.
The thin man who stood in for Angela was a college student who needed to get drunk before he was able to do the scene. Though originally uncredited, it has since been revealed that the identity of Angela's body double was Archie Liberace. It is his first and only screen credit.
And that's per IMDb?
Yes.
IMDb, yeah. So that's what they did. You can tell when you see the face because it's just like this. It's freaking hilarious. It's freaking hilarious.
I was like, what the heck?
Looking like that because she just, I mean, she wasn't doing it.
Yeah, we chose movies to review, and this was her choice. And I was like, what the hell does she have me watching?
It was hilarious because you see the full frontal and a little wink there. And the poor dude, I mean, he got paid for it, but he probably never acted again, but that's what they had to do.
I mean, you don't see his face, and he never had to fess up.
So he made a little bit of money, but it was just hilarious. And they actually have, there are 5 of these, but the last one was not finished. Honestly, after part 2, you know how stuff can kind of start getting a little cheesy.
Yeah. This
is just a classic 80s, so don't go into this in 2022 expecting 2022 special effects and things like that. It's not. It's pure. It's the 80s formula. So keep in mind when you watch that. But I will go watch part 1 and part 2.
The second one has Angela coming back as a teenager, being a counselor, and still killing these people that are having sex, and doing stuff she doesn't approve of.
Yeah,
basically.
So that's the good part. That's why I say go ahead and watch part 2. They're classic. Once you watch these, if you haven't already, you'll start seeing all the memes and you'll start understanding and getting it. Yeah. Listen, this film, mind you, this is in 1983. The budget for this film was $350,000, which is not a lot for a film.
No.
Do you know how much it boxed at the box office?
How much did it box?
$11 million.
What?
For 1983. Which is why they kept making them. I don't think the other ones were as successful.
Okay.
Especially after 2, you get it starts getting really
watered down.
Yeah, way watered down. But that is outstanding for a movie. And it's just the shocking ending that gets you because, again, there's absolutely nothing in there that would have gave you a hint that she was a boy.
Right.
Technically, yeah. So it's a good thing that the 5th one wasn't done because it really was not needed. But I would recommend watching this. Like I said, me and my cousin Cece, we have this thing going back and forth between this, Pumpkinhead, and Chucky. So we always making jokes about it. But this is one of my favorite classic 80s movies is Sleepaway Camp.
Let me say this. Did she tell you this? Willie Cuskin, who played one of the bullied camp boys, was genuinely bullied during the filming. Frank Trent Saladino, who played a camp counselor, had to step in when the other members took things too far.
These kids, I mean, they were teenage kids, and some of them were preteens, so you expect that on a movie set. It's It's life. Real life happens behind camera. Even happens on stage when you're doing plays. There's always some kind of drama behind the scenes. And even though they're kids, you got all these kids in camp that you're managing in a movie. It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
They're kids.
Oh, here's another really interesting one, and then I'll stop here.
Okay.
Felicia Rose's mother did not want her to be the killer because she was so young. Jonathan Turstyn was the stand-in and hand double for all of Angela's actions during the murders. His more masculine hands with veins could better throw off the audience. He even donned a wig for the backlit shot, which Angela finds Judy in the dark.
See, that's what we were saying. You got to kind of take that out of your head when you're looking at the size and the frame and all that, because sometimes it wasn't always her.
Right.
Because she was a small little petite girl.
Yeah.
But this movie is fun to me. I just have fun watching it. I have fun watching the bullies get what they deserve. You know, if you had picked with her, she might have left you alone. If you weren't out being nasty on the campgrounds and all that stuff, you got what you deserve.
Why do people always want to talk about people just because they don't want to talk that much? Like the girl could talk.
And
but she didn't want to talk.
And the girl just kept bothering her over and over. Leave that child alone.
Yeah.
She is a child. You are a camp counselor. Leave the girl alone. You should know better. That's why you're going to get it. See, those are the people I enjoy their demise when it happens. So this is just one of those really, really fun movies. Go ahead and watch part 1, part 2. They're fun. Pull it up on a Saturday night. You're chilling at home. You want to see some funny 80s stuff. Not funny, but it's you get what I'm saying about it. It's a fun watch for me. So go ahead and pull that up and take a look at Sleepaway Camp. Again, that was in 1983 is when they first started making them. And don't forget, for us, for GottaBeReel, movie reviews with Thommi and Jules.
Yes.
We are on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
We're on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We're on Instagram.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're on Cash App. If you'd like to make a donation for our movie watching ventures, you are more than welcome and we appreciate it. Also, we take requests. Let us know what you want to see. We'll shout you out on the show. And also, Halloween's coming up. Go to PhoenixFearCon.com. You're going to see we're going to be doing some panels. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have creepy vendors there for you to buy stuff. Also, GottaBeReel, guess what? We're on the FearCon network now. So go to Connect to Your City Studios. You'll see the FearCon tab. Tap it. You're going to see a lot of our content, amongst others. Some great stuff going on that network. So shout out to Chris and Danita.
Yes. Suspense reviews.
That's right. So shout out to Chris and Danita for making that happen.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for tuning in to GottaBeReel movie reviews. We'll see you soon for Creepy Halloween. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.